Jnanatimirandasya janaganasalakayam chakshusmritam jena tasmai shri gurave namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Shapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakara Maya Dadati Saparantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Ishan, you're a control of Grihasta, you can start with this.
Well, I didn't know that, I didn't remember reading, that the Dhyana and Jnana schools, a Grihasta cannot be part of. Which means Bhakti is the best process. Because in proportion, the people in the world are a Grihasta, like 99.99999% or more than that. So therefore, Bhakti is for everyone. It's a process that, while the pleasure of Bhakti comes in, you know, the material pleasure, the sense gratification goes out. There's no separate effort.
Sorry for that phone. Balaram, you want to say something?
Yeah, he's pointing at Grihasta mean a household.
More comments? Come on.
But a brahmachari doesn't mean a single person. Brahmachari means completely abstinence of sexual activities. The mind, work, words, and mind. At all times, under all circumstances, and in all places. Like it said here in the purport.
Who else got some comment or question?
And there are, am I correct in thinking that these are different sects, like Bhakti Yoga and Raja? I know about Raja schools, Raja Yoga, which is one, right? Are these similar to different sects of Hinduism, or are they just different schools depending on the structure of the human
elevation?
Yes.
Well, the idea is that yoga means to join. So ultimately, the joining is the living entity joins with God. So the direct way to join with God is through love. That's why Lord Jesus also said, love God with your whole heart, your whole soul, your whole mind, and your neighbor as yourself. So bhakti means love or devotion. So the other ways, what you mentioned, Raja or Jnana or other kinds of yoga, they're also coming there, but it's like, we give the example of a staircase rather than the lift or the elevator. You can take the elevator and go immediately up. So if we want to connect with God, be in harmony with God's will, thy will be done, then this is the direct method, bhakti. This is the method that Arjuna, when he hears this explanation, he says, for me it appears impossible. How can I go and sit down someplace and meditate on my nose? And because he's a man of action, and he says, controlling the mind like this is impossible, like trying to control a hurricane. To sit in a quiet place, but your mind was going, racing here and racing there. So he says, it doesn't appear to be attainable to me, so why not? Then Krishna said, okay, then you can, if you work for me, if you do your fighting for me, or whatever you're doing for me, actually do it for me, then you'll get the same result, only it won't be artificial. You don't have to go to be celibate and be, you can have your family, you can have your children, you can do, but it'll get you there even quicker, rather than trying to some other process which is like step by step. Because ultimately, if you want to be a successful yogi, you have to please God who's in your heart. See, a lot of yoga systems, they don't think God is a person. But then there's no question of pleasing. They just think it's like an exercise. They're going to become strong by doing exercise and breathing. Then they'll have, a dominion over the land. They'll be able to keep their body healthy and enjoy and dominate, and have powers, and things will come to them. But the devotee, he's not interested on his own account. He's interested in pleasing the Lord, because there's devotion is there, there's love. So he's happy when the Lord is pleased. Then he feels that's a success. So from the other side, let's say I'll take the position of the atheist. Well, how do I know there's a God? And what to speak of pleasing Him? Why do you say God is a person? Balaram Acharya?
Why do we say God is a person? We say God is a person because we are persons and we are made in the image of God. We are children of God. So obviously God has to be personality. And
well, that may be just anthropomorphism. You're just making God in your image. You're a person, so you think God must be a person. Maybe He's a great cloud or something. Why should He be a person?
Well, we can speak from the scriptures, and that is the only way. Otherwise, discussions can go on for eternity. Well,
no, but there's also a reasonable explanation, even aside from the scripture. Because we see in the creation that the personality is the highest feature. Why is that? Because a personality can take the initiative. Personality has qualities like compassion, strength, beauty, so on. We see a beautiful person. I mean, you can see a beautiful sunset too, but if it's it's got more attraction and has more potency, a powerful person. So how can the creation be less than the Creator? If God is impersonal, then where has this personality come from? How and it's so attractive? Everybody's attracted to a person who is very famous, who's very renounced, like Cool Hand Luke or somebody, Paul Newman, or somebody who's very handsome or beautiful. Everybody's attracted, a person, because they have personal features. They're knowledgeable, they can speak, they have charisma. These are all personal qualities, and we're all attracted to it. Nobody can say they're not. So if that's the case here, then how can God, who is the source of this, not have those qualities also? So aside from Scripture, it's even reasonable, logical. But of course, the Scripture does say. Who else?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between the Bhakti school, Jnana school and Dhyana schools? Like, how do they worship? What are their approaches of worshipping God or praying them?
Did you want to answer?
Uh-huh.
I was asking if my colleague wanted to answer.
Well, I can just start. Like, Dhyan is basically where it's a process where you're trying to understand God through knowledge. That is Dhyan. Dhyan basically means knowledge. Dhyan, the process of Dhyan is where you're meditating. And actually this chapter is Dhyan Yoga. So in this chapter, how it is described that one should sit in a particular posture and then meditate on the God within the heart. That is Dhyan Yoga. And then third is Bhakti Yoga, which is love and devotion. And the essence of Bhakti Yoga is said like, there's a verse, said, Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyati Mama. So Krishna says that always think of me, remember me, worship me, offer your obeisances to me. So that kind of yoga is called Bhakti Yoga, which is of love and devotion. So developing your love to Krishna, that is Bhakti Yoga. And we practically see like the process of Dhyan and Dhyan. It is so impractical for this age. Like imagine doing what is said in this verse. Sitting in a particular posture and then meditating on the tip of the nose, then subduing the mind. Who can do that? Devoid of fear.
everyone is so, so much in fear.
Free from sex life.
Free from sex life. Who can do that? So, and the same thing with Gyan, Gyan. In this particular age, like, we are not intelligent to, understand the things which are around us. What to speak of understanding God. And then that's why in the purport Prabhupada says that bhakti is the highest.
And Krishna also says, Jnanamam Papadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sadurlabha. After many, many births of Gyan, or cultivating knowledge, one may come to realize that Vasudeva, Krishna, is everything. He's the source of everything. And then one will fully surrender there. So why go many, many births? Why not recognize immediately? We give the example, if you want to reach your nose, you can reach your nose like this, or else you can come directly. So this is the direct process where Krishna is saying, not we're saying. This is Bhagavad Gita is saying. If you take an objective study of Bhagavad Gita, you can read Bhagavad Gita by the Gyanis. They also translate, and you compare and see what really Krishna is saying here. He's saying that I'm the source of everything. You should worship me with your whole heart. You should surrender to me, and then you'll be the highest yogi, and you'll be the most successful. And that's what Arjuna does. And therefore, he's successful. So why take a risk? Why not do what Bhagavad Gita advises? Especially you're coming from India, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've heard of Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
So why not study Bhagavad Gita? When I was a student at the university, 1968, the devotees came, and I had heard something about Bhagavad Gita, I read a little bit about it, and they were saying, this is Bhagavad Gita as it is. And I was thinking, oh my God, another edition of Christianity. They're going to tell us they have the only way. That was my first reaction to the devotees. Because I thought, why are they saying this is the only way, or this is Bhakti is the only way? So I went to the library and I got 3 or 4 different editions of Bhagavad Gita. Ramakrishna Mission and this other mission, the Bhagavad Gitas are there. Muktananda had a Bhagavad Gita. Because everybody wants to touch Bhagavad Gita. So I did a study, just a comparative study. I read this and this verse and this verse. And at the end I had to agree that that's really what Krishna is saying. That I'm God and you should surrender to me. And that's what bhakti is. So don't take my word for it. Make a comparative study. You're an intelligent boy, you're here at the university. You're not here because, you have some qualification. Intelligent qualification. Otherwise you wouldn't be in America, probably. If you were pulling a rickshaw in India or something, but you're here. Okay, so use your intelligence. Krishna says, one who uses intelligence to worship me, this is the highest. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, he tells us Sanjay, one who worships me with his intelligence. So this is a way of worshiping Krishna with your intelligence. You're a jnani. Go take 3 or 4 different Bhagavad Gitas. Take our Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Prabhupada. And then try to just understand some important verses. What's the difference? What are they saying? What are they saying? And then we think you'll be convinced. So it's not we're just trying to brainwash you to our way of thinking. But we accept the authority of the Bhagavad Gita. Someone else wants to talk?
Actually, one thing which I mentioned here is being devoid of fear. And actually, nearly every person in this world is subject to fear. Not only at one time, but every single moment. Because we are always performing activities out of fear. We are getting our education because we have a fear that we won't get a good job. So many activities that we are performing out of fear. So this Krishna consciousness movement, when we practice this Bhakti Yoga, when we acquire the knowledge, we see things actually as they are, and automatically, by acquiring this knowledge and practicing this process, our fear becomes diminished, and then we become fearless. Then we understand that these things are not, necessary. We understand where our actual direction is, where we're heading. And in this way we become fearless. And it's very practical. It's not like some magical thing.
So surrender is the same as bhakti. But surrender to whom? I was watching a video not too long ago on YouTube or something. There was Hitler speaking at Nuremberg and so on. You know, so enthusiastic. Did you ever see Hitler speak?
Oh yeah.
Wow, he's like really fired up. And on the bottom, there was some boys were saying, "Wow, this guy is really," and he's white also. I would give my life for him. Today they were making that comment. Today.
But I mean, Hitler was.
So my point is, they were trying to surrender. They would be willing to surrender their life to him today if he walked in the room. They'd follow. You're our leader, El Fuhrer. Let us follow you. They're ready to surrender to him. That's what surrender means. That here's a person. I want to do whatever he wants me to do. That's real surrender. So we're saying our leader is Krishna. Someone else has Lenin. Someone else has Marx. Someone else has Hitler. Someone else.
Beatles.
Yeah.
Rolling
But
Stones.
that's really what surrender is. To do the bidding of someone else. Now most people, they surrender to their mind. But that also cheats you. Now go ahead, speak, Morgan.
My only comment was that Hitler is a good person to. I wouldn't say good. I would actually use the word bad. But magnetic, attractive,
Charismatic.
Charismatic. Not good. I would say bad.
So what's the point?
That was just my only comment. That he is kind of magnetic to watch.
But
That was my only comment. But you were saying surrender to
I'm
Krishna.
saying that we can surrender to the wrong thing. We do that all the time. We mostly surrender to our mind, to our senses. But they cheat us. Like the man, old man. He's seen so many naked women, but still he's addicted to pornography. Going to see a naked dance at the club. His senses are dragging him. Oh, you have to come. So he's surrendering. Okay, my mind, my senses, yes, just one more time, then I'll be happy. He's not happy. It burns like fire. Never satisfied. This is the nature of lust. So we're surrendering, but we're surrendering to the lower. But if we surrender to Krishna, then we'll be happy. This is our propaganda, you can say.
Earlier on you used the word embarrassment. It's very appropriate because, for example, anger. A lot of people get angry and then you can say 99% of the time they regret that anger. So it means it's a force. It's a force of anger which pulls you. And it's like an embarrassment because you're being like pulled like a dog on a leash. So to get free from that, that's what we want. We don't want to be pulled here and be pulled everywhere. We want to be in control. So if we actually want to be, it's actually ironic because normally when you surrender to somebody, you come under somebody's control. But this is odd because you surrender but then you become free.
How is that? Explain about that.
Because you're surrendering to Krishna. And Krishna is your best friend and Krishna is your well-wisher.
And Krishna is his constitutional position, or our constitutional position, is to serve him. Just like the hand is naturally serving the body. The hand doesn't think, oh, I'm not going to bring the food in the mouth. I'm going to enjoy it directly. It's not the position of the hand to do that. So similarly, our position as the particle of God is to complement him. This is the yoga. This is the natural yoga, constitutional yoga. If we glorify God, if we put God in the center, then we'll find that this is our natural happy position. But if we imitate God, then we're always going to be in anxiety. We're always going to be fearful because that's not our position to be in the center, to imitate God. But that's what we're doing. Krishna says, I'm the enjoyer, I'm the proprietor, I'm the controller. But we're trying to be that person. We're trying to accumulate more and more that we can claim as mine. But what is our false claim? We come into the world without anything, and we go out without anything.
another nice point is about the word fear. Because fear is the same as lack of knowledge. When you don't have knowledge of something, then you fear. You go to a room, it's dark, you don't see, or you don't know. Because you don't know, then you have fear. So the fear is when we don't know what's going to happen. We're going to die. We know that we're going to die. We can think that we're not going to die, but we will. And we have fear. We have fear of going to the street being robbed. We have fear. There's so many different situations because we don't know. We don't understand how things work. We don't know karma. We don't know the three modes of nature. We don't know time. We don't know the Supreme Person. So then we are with fear. But when we understand how all those things work in our constitutional position, which is serving Krishna, then automatically we understand how things work, and then we start to lose that. But the knowledge comes in, and then the fear goes out. The more knowledge, the more, not only knowledge, when I say knowledge, I don't mean only knowledge about studying, but practicing jnana and vijnana, realized knowledge. Then you start to feel and see that the fear is gone. You're not step by step, of course, but it's going to go.
Ram, you had a comment?
I want to say that if you consider like Jnana Yoga and Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, so Bhakti Yoga, as we told that Bhakti Yoga is topmost. And when it like Bhakti Yoga actually contains Dhyan and Jnana also, like somebody is a devotee and he will have, like he will be a meditator also. And Jnana, as far as Jnana is concerned, we have so much scripture. A lot of Jnana is there in the scripture. So whatever is contained, everything is there. So if a devotee is practicing Krishna consciousness, then he will be practicing meditation also, because every day we are, like Prabhupada used to say, always remember Krishna and never forget him. A devotee, whatever he does, whatever a devotee will be doing, he will be always be doing something in connection with Krishna. It is just like student, if student is studying or somebody is doing job. So devotee will always be doing these activities just in connection with Krishna, knowing that I am serving Krishna in this way. So in that sense, a devotee is actually a perfect yogi. And as far as knowledge is concerned, our philosophy is, as everybody knows, that is the topmost philosophy. And just I remember one instance, like Srimad Bhagavatam, like this is told in our revealed scriptures, like Srimad Bhagavatam and Vyasdev wrote everything. He wrote all the knowledge which is there, which a Jnana Yogi or Dhyana Yogi which he studies. Still after writing everything he was not satisfied. Then his spiritual master himself came and then he told that actually you have not written the topmost thing, that's why you are not satisfied. Then he wrote things about Bhakti Yoga. Then came the Srimad Bhagavatam. So our Gyan, the Gyan which deals about Bhakti is the topmost Gyan. So that is what his combination of, even his combination of Karma Yoga also, we should have Karma Yoga also. Dhyan, Gyan and Karma, all the these three things. When they are combined, like when a person understands everything, like when a person matures, we can say, it is just like, last time also I told, like somebody does intermediate very nicely, then he does his graduation, then he does his post-graduation. Then he becomes perfectly mature, then he does PhD. So that is the topmost. So it's a similar way Bhakti is also there. If a person is a Bhakt, then he is automatically a Jnana Yogi, Dhyana Yogi and Karma Yogi. But vice versa is not true. It is just like somebody is doing PhD, he is already graduate. But graduate is not PhD. So it contains each and everything.
So that's a good point. But to qualify that, we want to say that just because you have a tilak or something doesn't automatically make you a devotee. In other words, it's not just a rubber stamp that you're a Mahatma or something. But you have to really be a devotee means you love God more than yourself. So we can't imitate that and just say, oh yes, I'm going to do that. I mean, because since time immemorial, we've been putting ourselves in the center. But in association of those who actually have attained that, then gradually we can come to that point where we are appreciating God more and more, and then love will actually begin. And at that point, then the devotee is really superior to the others. Like the examples, like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, some who became devotees, Arjuna and others. So then Uddhava, then when we examine their character, then we can see that they are superior to the yogis. They are superior to the jnanis because of their qualities. It's not by birth or not by external symptom, but by actual heartfelt devotion, one does become superior. It's not something by birth. It's like that's one of the things that people criticize. Oh, the caste system in India, people are claiming because of birth that they're superior. But it's not like that. Just like if you're the son of a high court judge, doesn't make you a high court judge. So a Brahmin doesn't become automatically a Brahmin. He has to have the qualities. The same with devotee. So to become a devotee, one actually has the quality of loving God more than himself. So we don't claim to be devotees, but we do say we've met a devotee, and we want to. He's given us a process. We can become devotees. We have faith in that. By taking this process, we can attain to that highest perfectional stage. This is our propaganda. So, ladies, want to comment? They're too shy.
We are always told not to feel angry or greedy or lustful.
Not necessarily. Anger also can be used. In other words, Krishna in a sense is exciting Arjuna. Come on, Arjuna, fight. Get angry. Why are you dropping your bow? You know this picture of in the beginning. So, and greed also. Let's say if you're greedy for Krishna, that's not bad.
My question was like how to implement that in real life.
Well, that
not
was
feel greedy, not feel like angry at
No,
someone.
the best method is that we read this is in the purport here. Param Justanavartate. Can we find that 259? Where is that? Chapter 2, text 59.
Ishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjan rasupyasya parandrishtva nivartate.
Translation.
The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for the sense objects remains. But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
So that's what we're emphasizing, the positive. The positive is the chanting, the association, the prasadam that we offer. Then if you get attraction for those things, discussing philosophy like this, and we could be discussing politics or something, there's so many groups on campus that are discussing politics or environmental groups and so on. So we're discussing, we'll say you get a higher taste from this, then automatically you lose your lust and greed, and these things won't trouble you. They'll become pale in comparison.
Practically, I can say in my own experience, though I'm fractionally practicing this process, things like anger have diminished considerably.
Sweet boy like you used to get angry? I don't believe it. Victor, you have any comments or questions?
Yes, I've read some similar text that resonates very similarly to this, and it's called The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. He basically states that all this there's an influx of emotion that happens all the time, but there are those emotions that lead us to darker acts or acts that lead us away from our true self. And he says basically to diminish or to free yourself in a way is to become conscious and aware that you are actually being or experiencing this emotion, not just letting it, identifying yourself with it. We identify ourselves with our emotions all the time. We think we're
That's
angry
a good point, yeah.
because, for whatever reason.
To step back from it and see it.
Exactly. Understand that you are being angry and for what reason, and then this understanding, this observation of it will help you detach yourself, because what you truly are is not this emotion, but the observation, the entity that is seeing it.
Right, that's a very good point. So who is that entity who's observing? So that's the first teaching of Bhagavad Gita. that we are a particle of God. We have the same nature as God. Mama Vamsa Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanata. We have, like we give the example of the sun and the sunlight. Sun is very great, sunlight is small, but they have the same quality. They both have light and heat. So we have the same quality as God. We're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. But now we're in this material world. So we, the soul, is in the heart, tiny particle of God. When the soul leaves, then the body again becomes smelly piece of matter. We don't care for it. The soul, that particle of God, is what gives it life. So we are saying now, when that body gets worked up because of the contact with nature, and then if we're able to, like you say, step aside and see it, but who is that we who's stepping aside? We're saying that we is a particle of God, and if you're able to do that, that's the first step. To realize that you're not the body. To realize that when you get in a taxi, you don't think you're the taxi, you know you're the passenger. So that's a good, we can come to that realization. Then the next realization is, okay, I'm not this body, I'm a conscious entity separate from this body, separate from this anger. But then, who am I? What's the positive? I'm not that, that's okay, Neti. But who am I? So Bhagavad Gita says, you are a servant of God. And that at that level, you're above the Hindu, Muslim, Christian. You follow? That's where real religion can help the world. People mostly think that religion is creating havoc in the world because in the name of religion there's so much mischief. But real religion can make us brothers. Then we all recognize. Just like we don't think this is the Indian sun or American sun. We all know this sun is for everybody. For China, for India. So God is for everybody. And we're all particle of God. This is the real non-sectarian United Nations. We want to make a solution to the world problems. It's here also. Anyone else? But that's a good observation, a good insight there. Be able to step aside and see how the mind is working, how the... Yes?
I have like just a different comment. Like a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, pretty much always, fear is in your kidneys. Like if you breathe into your kidneys a lot, you become fearful.
Breathe into your kidneys?
Yeah, that's where fear is, and it gets unlocked. So you should never breathe into your kidneys more than 70% of its capacity.
How do you breathe into your kidneys in the first place?
Well,
you breathe into your lungs.
You breathe in to your kidneys. You have to know where they are.
Actually,
halfway in your
what
back.
he's trying to say is these reactions of the body like fear, fright, these are initiated by a hormone called adrenaline, which is on top of the kidneys. Maybe that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try to remember that. Bhagavad Gita ki.